What else do we have in Division 1? There is Nottingham versus Loughborough, bit of a Midlands derby. We've got a London derby with UCL Imperial. Cambridge take on Birmingham, and Cardiff versus KCL. Have a look at the plate if you want, Division 2. I think we have those games. Yeah, we do. Where standings-wise, you've got Oxford, Cambridge, Warwick in UCL second teams, all sort of mirror, in fact, almost exactly mirroring the standings from the first division. The standout tie in that one is probably Cambridge 2 versus UCL 2. And it looks like you're allowed to enter 2 teams in the plate. So there's also Oxford third team, Cambridge 3s, and Warwick 3s. So there's a lot of Cambridge, Oxford, and Warwick.
Wait, so say again, who's winning?
Oxford are leading from Cambridge and then Warwick.
Yeah.
In that one, but all 3 of those are tied on.
I guess it's like quite likely that if you have a strong first team, then your second team is also. Strong.
So those 3 are all tied on match points. So presumably they've won 6 and lost 1 each. So there's a good chance that one will come down to game points. So.
So Warwick is a sniff there, then, eh?
Oh, so for sure. The more 4-0s, the better. We've had a decisive game in that already.
And who have we got for Warwick?
Quick scan down for Warwick. It's these 4 here. So we've got Kabir, Huja, Magnus, Damarali, and Tom, who's on 7 out of 7, I believe, in the tournament so far. Have a quick nose at his game.
Must be nice.
It can be quite a good way to pick up a game and even match points in a BUCA where there's only 4 boards, to have a particularly strong 4th board who cleans up, sort of 6 out of 7, 7 out of 7 type scores.
Yeah. So was it sort of deliberate or?
I'm not sure. Yeah. Good question. You have to ask the captain.
So, all right. So we're very solid. Not taking any chances. But I mean, yeah, okay. Well, White has more spaces as usual and some attacking ideas, but in the long run, with these central pawn and dark squares and this dark square bishop, probably Black has nothing to worry about as long as nothing immediately bad happens. So
I wonder if the knight back to f6 was half a draw offer, inviting White to play bishop f4 and repeat 3 times.
Well, I mean, bishop f4 is a strange move. Yeah, here e5. I guess knight takes f7 was a threat.
I'll just show that on the board. The threat was here, and then queen hitting e6 and the bishop afterwards.
So c5 is what you want to play anyway. And so then you hit this pawn center, and White has to decide what to do. But the queen defends e6, so it stops. Knight takes f7.
Probably White has to take on c5, I would think. As it has to be used loosely, but otherwise I can't see a particularly good way of defending this pawn, or certainly without leaving it as a fairly weak, isolated one.
Yeah, you don't really want to leave it there, right?
So I'd be expecting d takes c5, and that is played. So White knows what he's doing as well.
I mean, bishop takes is more natural.
Some pressure on f2 at some point. We'll might have to be a little bit careful. At some point, might feel like his king's a bit airy with the g pawn move forward.
Yeah, so White decides to play quickly, but yeah, this is also not without risk. I mean,
this
you have the c-pawn to worry about. Maybe you can push it to c4, but yeah, you have to be careful. But I guess it's still a pretty even. It's just White. There are some holes in White's position, I guess. Even with this pawn on g4, sometimes you have to be careful. whereas black is just structurally very sound. But I don't know. I mean, maybe white can play c4 or something. But yeah, I would say it's more white has to be careful here.
So have a quick scan through the other Warwick games in that match. So we've got an interesting looking position here. White's gained a bit of space in the centre. Looks like a Dutch type thing. Let's have a look. Yep. A5 is an interesting one.
Yeah.
Can't say I've seen it before. Maybe stopping B4, but black's pieces feel a little bit stuck over in this corner over here, with the rook on a8, bishop on b7, and the knight on a6.
Yeah.
I wonder if white's thinking about swinging the queen over to the king side at some point. Queen h5 type ideas.
Yeah, the queen. I don't know. It doesn't look that good to me, the queen, but I guess the queen will get out safely. Yeah, maybe to h5.
Not quite a danger of being trapped. It looks alright for the time being.
So this pawn on e4 may come under attack at some point, but black can play d5 then probably. Yeah, this knight on a6 is also not very good.
No, it might. Trouble is, black doesn't have c6 and knight 7 because of the b6 pawn. So I'm not sure how he's getting out of that one. But
should we go back to Warwick 1 versus Oxford?
Yep, can do. That's fine. I don't think on. Let's pop to.
So, all right. So we
Dan's game looks fairly interesting.
Dan's game looks interesting.
Yeah, where did we pick off? I think it was around this king h1 mark. It was around this king h1, I think, when we left it last time. a5, that's a very normal looking move.
Okay,
This looks normal enough so far, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. Like when you're recapturing on f5 with black,
it's like always the g pawn, right?
Normally you take with the pawn, but here there may be some issue. But it's like you want to take back with the g pawn, but there may be some issues, say with g4 or something.
Yeah, it feels a bit loose because of where the white's piece and the black king happen to be. But yeah, normally G takes it away.
I don't know if white can really play g4 or maybe black with queen h4. So
still wasn't sold on pawn takes here.
Yeah, maybe it could be tempting, but yeah, maybe there's something wrong with it. Takes with the bishop also looks fine. Like black looks okay to me. e4 f1 knight d3 takes. Yeah, but now what is this? You lose a pawn, right?
Yes. Okay, so it looks like Dan's got an extra pawn, and black has a bishop pair. Dan is a huge fan of the bishop pair himself, to the point where it's his Twitter handle at bishop pair.
I mean, bishop pair for nothing would be nice. Just bishop pair for pawn. I don't think it's.
I'm not sure it's quite enough.
I don't think it's that good.
Normally, black would quite like a knight on this c5 square.
Yeah, so something went wrong here, I guess.
Is that knight d3 probably?
Yeah, when you take with the bishop, like strategically, it's not so great because okay, black play d4. But if black just sat around, then I don't know. Maybe white could play like e4 and then occupy e4 or something. Black decided to play e4, and white decided that maybe this pawn is weak. I don't know if black really had to give up the pawn with knight d3. It seemed like rook a8 would have made more sense. Got some options open, but anyway, black decided to just give up this pawn. And now there's queen queen d4. So maybe black is thinking that there's some concrete compensation to be had.
He can claim a development advantage, perhaps, if he can get control of the e file quicker than white can.
So white has some immediate issues to sort out. But yeah, I don't know. Say takes in rook g2.
Then rook comes to e8 and it looks a little bit awkward for white.
Bishop d2.
Might need a couple of moves to untangle, but once he's got his pieces in order, then he might be all right.
Yeah.
Looking at something like this, I think rook g2 to hold on to this g4 pawn here. Rook e8 looks natural enough.
Yeah, it may be rook e8, or it might be like h5 or something.
Okay. h3 maybe.
h3 then like takes king g7.
Okay, that was an interesting idea, and trying to hit white's king instead. On this h file.
Yeah.
I'm not sure it's a full threat, but it's certainly interesting.
Well, it wins the g4 pawn, right? And then
yes, okay.
So no, this is kind of dangerous for white to play like this.
And if white is to, there's not really, well, white has to try and hold the c4 pawn probably. So queen e2 is asking to get hit by rook e8. Queen f1, and suddenly white's been pushed back a little bit. So maybe there is something for black.
Yeah, I mean, you can play take. I think you can play takes and rook g2. I don't know. I mean, maybe you don't have to. Maybe you could play queen f1 or something. But queen f1 is quite passive. Like you're not immediately threatening to develop the bishop or anything.
It feels a bit like asking for trouble with this rook here as well. It does look a bit awkward.
Probably what white is thinking is to try to make queen takes d4 work. That's the move that you want to play, but you have to figure a few things out. Because queen f1 is like giving into some passivity. Yeah, I mean, queen takes d4 and rook g2. I can't really see what's wrong with it. I mean, black has some ideas like rook a8, but then maybe white is bishop d2, and yeah. But then, yeah, actually, black still has bishop takes c3 as an option there, because if white takes back with the bishop, there's rook f4, and if white takes back with the pawn, there's rook e4. So
I'll just show that quickly.
Not like it seems like black does have compensation in that line.
Rook e8, rook d2, bishop d2. Sorry, and then here, if the bishop takes, this pawn hangs. If the pawn takes, this pawn hangs.
Yeah,
I don't see a way to save it.
Black already has a pretty good option, like this. So white it's actually white maybe who has to be careful in this position. In that line, black gets compensation. But I don't know. Say rook g2, rook a8, then knight e2. Oh, he went rook g3.
This looks like a live version. Okay.
He went rook g3, and rook
e8. Better
a8.
or worse than rook g2? I can't tell immediately.
I don't know. I mean, black has the option to do the same thing. Now white doesn't have knight e2 as an option. Maybe white even has to play. Maybe white even has to play bishop d2, and then black has at least this option of bishop takes c3, which is taken. But now white can take with the everything is uncomfortable. So white did not manage to untangle.
The bishop's holding f4, the rook's holding g4, and if the pawn takes, rook e4 picks up c4. So
actually, yeah, Jackson is playing for advantage here.
He's done very well, and well called by Sam as well. All right, shall we hop to the other boards for a second? Let me see what's going on in Max and Tom's game. I don't think we've seen it much further than this. A5, getting some space on the queen side. Black being pushed back a little bit. White giving up the bishop pair. And now Black's hitting this a5 pawn.
Bishop d8.
Was there anything wrong with bishop takes d5 and taking on a5?
Bishop takes d5 and taking on a5.
Might be a bit greedy, but
certainly it looks a bit greedy. But yeah, that's the question. Was there anything wrong with that? Takes knight takes a5. I mean, maybe White just plays c4 and knight e4 and has compensation.
I suppose the knight, by going to a5, has now trapped itself a little bit.
Yeah, so the knight can eventually get out with some like queen b6, knight b7, knight d6.
It'd love to get to d6, yeah.
But in the meantime, you know, White plays like c4, knight e4. Also, these opposite colored bishop middle games are very dangerous because the attacking side has like an extra piece. And so if your knight is offside and you have an opposite bishop middle game, probably it's not worth it for a pawn.
Maybe there's a bishop c2 and it starts looking quite dangerous in the light squares over here. It's a very good point.
Yeah, probably Max has studied these positions, and but this is also a bit uncomfortable. I mean, what is this knight b3? Like, how do you defend the c5 pawn?
You can't go queen a7 because of this c6 knight.
Yeah, now when I first saw the position, it looked fine, but now it seems like it's like something has gone wrong.
And that's come immediately after bishop d8. So
it's like as if you would like to have the bishop as a big pawn on d6, but it can't get there. Yeah, it couldn't go to e7 because of bishop takes c6. So now it's on d8, which is a terrible position. And if White didn't have immediate threats, then okay, maybe you could get out. But White has an immediate threat of knight takes c5. And so it looks very bad. Max has found some tactical idea.
Looking at knight takes c5.
Really changes anything, but yeah, maybe
queen a7 maybe is a bit of a.
Maybe for one move it stalls it. Yeah, so I don't know whether White can take on c5 immediately because of queen a7 with this idea of putting pressure on f2.
Maybe then d4. I'm not worked out, but
yeah. So White might try to make it work with like d4 or cb4 or something. There might be some way to make it work. But White is probably also thinking about what happens if he just plays some developing move like queen f3. Why not just defend the f2 pawns? So I don't know what will be chosen. But
I suppose doesn't seem to be any particular rush to take c5. It's not as though Max can defend it with the next move. I think.
Yeah. So if White plays queen f3, I also don't know whether Black has any idea there. He went for queen e2, which is similar.
Maybe wants f4 at some point. Doesn't want to get in the way of himself.
So knight, and then after knight takes c5, yeah, probably he will play knight takes c5. Then white is better by at least a pawn, I would say.
It's difficult. Hop over to board 2 quickly. Well, it looks like Black's already in a bit of time trouble and we've not got far out in the middle game.
Oh, Black is. Wait, how did this happen? Is it correct?
I think so. I mean, the 50 minutes is not a long time.
Seems to be suggesting that Victor just played. Oh no, Victor is down to 6 minutes. Yeah, Victor's down to 6 minutes.
And Junwei is down to less than a minute.
Yeah. All right. So what happened this game? This was like QGD line. So Victor had knight d2 is quite an interesting move. I guess he wanted to get f4. So maybe Victor has sort of prepared this or thought about this line at some point. and applying quite a lot of pressure. I mean, this pawn on f5, I guess it looks a bit strange, as though you might prefer it on f4 to support knight e5, would be kind of normal. But the pawn on f5, it pushed the bishop back to c8, and it stops also black's knights from getting nice squares on e6 and g6. So it's like black's pieces are very much restricted, even though this pawn on f5 looks weird, and also blocks white's bishop a bit, and doesn't allow you to play knight e5. But if black is not doing anything, maybe white has some other plans, maybe even g4.
Knight e2 to f4 could be coming as well.
Knight e2 to f4 could also be strong. Maybe you have to worry about knight e4 and knight df6, but it's at least an idea. Bishop b1. So now the rook is applying some implicit pressure onto the queen.
It's also quite a tricky one to play with black, especially with little time to keep everything held on to whilst trying to unravel a little bit.
Yeah, I guess the game hasn't really gone to plan, because black still has to solve development issues. And
maybe looking for some queenside play.
Kind of brave to just leave the queen there in line with the rook. Feels uncomfortable to play rook b8. But I don't know whether white can immediately exploit this. Maybe not. Oh, queen f4. This is a very creative move.
I think I quite like this.
Yeah, I can see it has potential. Just trying to see how good this is. Yeah, I guess white is pressing here, because black has now swapped off most of black's developed pieces, and black has. Yeah, I guess white has a better endgame here. But still, what does white do? Now black has played c4, so white can play knight e5 if he wants.
No obligation to take, of course.
At least knight e5 looks good. Black should not take, because then f takes e4 would be devastating. So black should sit tight. So yeah, it's a nice position for white, and if he has time, then certainly white will find some moves like g4. I didn't know whether he could do it immediately, because there's knight takes e5 and knight g4, but I guess there isn't, because you can play h3 there, and the knight gets trapped.
That's a very nice spot. I'll show that on the board quickly. H3 here would trap the knight, which is a good spot. It's a good tactical try.
So Victor managed to get g4, g5 very quickly. And this also, okay, it's very nice, but still black can play like knight h5 or something. So I don't know what actually is the idea there. But I guess Victor had thought about this. The knight has gone back to e8. I mean, yeah, I guess in black's case, he doesn't have much time, so he has to just play something. And knight e8 is also a nice idea, to put the knight on d6.
That f5 pawn suddenly might look in a bit of trouble.
Yeah, this g4, g5 stuff, it's what you want to play, but often you want to sort of prepare it, because there's some risk to not preparing it, and one of them is this f5 pawn. And yeah, it may be that actually everything is under control, but yeah, usually it's something you want to figure out, because now white has to figure out what to do against this threat. I mean, yeah, white can reroute the knight to like e3 or g3, and so yeah. I guess the pawn is not going to be lost or anything. But then you're taking the pressure off d5. Maybe black
suddenly black can jump with knight a4.
Yeah, black could play knight a4, knight b5.
Start creating some play of their own.
So I guess maybe now is the time for Victor to figure out some stuff that he had not figured out.
A quick scan on board 4, maybe. This looks like a fairly even rook ending at first glance.
Yeah, double rook endings are very tourist, right? So Yeah, it should be a draw.
Of course, white shouldn't take it. Would allow would allow f takes e4, and it would no longer be a draw.
You can lose, but it should be a draw.
But I suspect white is far too good for that. It's a nice one move try. Maybe we could see something like rook d6, rook e6, rook d4, rook e4, draw agreed.
Yeah.
Oh, I might be jumping a bit early, but
yeah, maybe black would play on because white has a slight weakness on e3 and black is a bit high rated. Maybe black would play on, but it should be a draw. White doesn't really have to do anything to make the draw.
Okay, probably not spend too long on this one then.
So, what do we want to stick with Warwick, or is there some interesting other?
I think let's have a quick scan of the boards. But
so, what board one for Imperial is winning or something? Is that right?
Okay, yeah, UCL Imperial I think was an interesting one.
Imperial. So, yeah, I mean.
Oh, we've had an exciting looking decisive game here. Should we have a look at what happened here? Oh, we were looking at this game. Okay.
This opening, yeah, so it seems like initiation.
What happened here?
Then black got good position.
In d5. Oh, okay. Bishop d6. So this is where we got to last time.
Right, it's still not clear, but I mean, yeah, white has like knight takes e5 coming, or so. Well, what is this? A4. Yeah, is A4 going to win? What is going on here? What's the idea? So
what I can't say that was immediately so bad.
Bishop e6. No, yeah, it seems like white. It seems like black. All right, black was low on time, so black just played something. Yeah, so black is trying to win, I guess, but maybe this is just a draw because after knight c6. Yeah, I think black had a good position before, but the ascending was quite tricky. Now white can play, say, knight c6. I don't know if white has to play that. Maybe also rook d4. Are
we looking at the same position, Sam? Minko versus Gay, I think.
Oh, are we looking at different games?
I feel like we might be.
Okay, I was looking at Lee versus Batazzi.
Oh, okay.
Is it the wrong?
I jumped to Minko versus Ye, which is the one we looked at earlier, but is now over.
Oh, okay.
Right, okay, so I'll jump to board one. Here we go.
Yeah, I suspect that knight c6 was the initial idea, but then there was also this possibility of rook d4 came, which also looks good. So now there is rook a4. Oh, what has happened here? There's just rook a4. Isn't that good?
And that is on the board.
I mean, black had
black can't take.
Black was pressing, but now black has to somehow make a draw. But maybe it's fine because you go back to how do you do it? Yeah, so you get how do you do it? You play king f. You play king f8, and there's rook f3. There's rook f3 there. King f8, rook f3. You can't play king e7 because of knight c6.
Knight c6, yeah.
So you have to find some other way. King g7. Yeah, maybe it's okay. But I don't know. Still, how will you do it? I mean, say white plays like f4 and rook d3 or something. You don't actually get to approach the pawn. And if you can't approach the pawn, then maybe
white can slowly just march upwards, right?
Yeah.
F4, G4, walk king to E4, F5. It looks pretty difficult to stop.
Yeah, it looks like black just sort of panicked, got low on time and panicked.
Where was this? Around here. Sort of. Wow, all 4 pawns dropped off very quickly.
Yeah, I mean, all right, screwed something up, and yeah, sometimes you just have to accept that you screwed it up and make a draw.
Wise words.
And okay, but so now Black has to try to somehow get out of this.
Of course, bishop takes d7, fails to rook d6.
So is there some escape? Just f4, I guess. Yeah, so I think maybe I would have been more comfortable with the rook on d4, but the rook on a6, I guess, also has its points. In some respects, it's better. So here, but here, can you play knight c6? So if knight c6, bishop. Oh no, you cannot.
We have to knight e7, but the king can take it, right?
I was after something else. I was after knight e6, but yeah, but then there was bishop e6. So here, all right. So no, but here, this is good though, because
this is an improvement for Black. Than
no, but this is just winning, isn't it? Because knight c6 is just winning
immediately. Yeah.
Yeah, this is winning. All right. So
Yeah, sorry. The one I was looking at a second ago was this Minko versus Ye game that we looked at briefly with the fun opening.
So White managed to get the better of this.
Yeah, and quite quickly as well. So we left it about here, bishop d6.
So bishop d6, I thought it looked strange, but now the League Chess is giving it a double question mark. So I guess it is.
That feels a bit harsh.
Yeah, probably
that bad.
Is a bit harsh. It's probably not that bad, but
how does this progress?
So what happened? So yeah, we said no need to hurry to take the knight, but then it's like White didn't really manage to do it, right? The knight got away. I guess there was this idea: you take back on b3 with the pawn, and then after b6 you play bishop a6. And yeah, I don't know. Maybe Black didn't see this.
So here queen takes b3.
Because
another.
Yeah.
And now it's much more difficult to get this to win this knight.
Because was the right move b6? Okay, so
yeah, it was apparently.
So you could also play d6 in that position. It wasn't clear to me what would happen after b4. Maybe there's some tactical way with knight f6 and just do some tactics. But b6 to me was a very natural move because it's like you protect the bishop. The bishop can still go back. You're threatening knight f6 and you're threatening knight bishop b7. So I guess this bishop d6 is very awkward. Then I guess it was still okay. But after queen takes b3, then eventually,
a6.
The knight got out. All right.
A lot of double question marks being dished out here.
Yeah. So what's going on? So you see that or something, or at least they're 2-0 up.
And the knight got out, and that was it.
They're 2-0 up, and Galaji is also 2 pawns up. So I guess UCL will win this.
Okay, so if we flip back to Warwick Oxford, maybe.
Yeah.
Ed managed to beat Dan. Very interesting. Okay, we've had a few decisive games here. That's good.
Yeah, I guess we saw that after bishop takes c3 and rook e4.
Okay, should we stick to board 1 for now and then recap the decisive games when it's finished?
Yeah. Okay. So well done, Ed.
Wins for Ed and Victor and Ashvin.
Victor also won with.
So this puts it at 2-1 to Warwick as it stands, which could be huge for the tournament.
So what happened? Oh, wait. What happened on the? We lost the double rook ending.
Oh yeah. Okay. How has that happened?
That was not supposed to happen. There was a blunder. I think there was a blunder.
Right. So.
Okay, I don't know. Maybe there was some pressure, but
this looks quite dangerous for Black. Although queen takes a5 is a good find, holding the g5 pawn.
So what is it? It's 2-1.
2-1
And
to Warwick as it
Max
stands.
appears to draw. So it wasn't looking good for Max before, I thought,
No, this now
but
looks okay.
but maybe wait, what was the idea? So maybe the idea. All right, so White had an advantage, but maybe the idea was that White couldn't really avoid opposite bishops.
This now
Um,
looks quite dangerous. Is there rook takes
so
g4, f6, and with rook takes g4 coming?
so it's like Max got opposite bishops and a bit more activity.
It's queen to f4 coming, queen to h4 coming. Oh,
But also Max doesn't need to win. He only
that's true.
He only needs a draw.
And I'm very much hoping that he knows this.
Yeah, I mean, I guess Max is an ambitious player, so you hope he doesn't take too many risks to try to win.
So while obviously threatening mate and 1, and the rook can't really move. Oh, it can actually. That's a lie. I tell a lie.
So the rook can move, but then why can't Black just play like why can't Black just move the rook?
Well, the queen was hanging, right? So I'd have to go and trade queens.
You trade queens, but then oh, okay. So maybe the question is it a draw? So I think it is a draw, but yeah, like okay, maybe I have to check this.
This looks quite neat for Max.
All right, maybe he wasn't sure or something. This is also This you could also say okay, no reason to swap queens. You can just keep playing, and then
Queen h4 coming soon, I would imagine.
yeah, queen h4, but I mean you have to be careful of bishop f5, but and now you have to be careful of queen g7 mate. So yeah, black looks like yeah, somehow black looks comfortable.
Oh, we've got a queen trade. Okay.
Yeah, white could see nothing better than to swap queens. And now it's like this should be a draw, right?
A draw, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So what white wants is maybe to play e5, but yeah, so there should be a draw. But I guess the only thing is they're low on time. So you can't just sit here and calmly figure out how to make the draw.
I guess Max trying to go behind the pass pawn.
So yeah, he can put the rook behind the pass pawn and push the pawn. And
gives white something to think about for sure.
I guess it should be a draw. Max wants an even more active rook.
Is this the ambitious Max you were talking about?
No, it can't be. But what is there? Is there like bishop h7? Oh no, but then you check and move the bishop away.
Yeah, it's got to be very tiny. Be careful.
It's like as white we would be tempted to play bishop h7, right? But maybe I guess it doesn't work. So just
it's enough to make me nervous as a Warwick fan.
yeah. Yeah, so well done to Warwick so far with 2-1 lead here, and it should be a draw. What is it? But now let's see. So you can play f6 or something. You play f6 now. Yeah, so you swap off a pawn. So black does not want to end up with rook bishop versus rook, even if it's technically a draw. Black wants to find some cleaner solution. And maybe it's rook b3 and rook a3. Oh no, but then there's rook f1 check. So black still has not solved it. So what's this now? Here's this idea to cut the king off.
I like that. Yeah.
Cut the king off. Yeah, it's a good idea. It makes it very, very tricky for white to do anything. And yeah, but now
Maybe white wants bishop e4, king f4.
Yeah, probably this is what you'll do. So, but king f7, bishop e4, rook b5, king f4, rook takes e5. With the idea king takes e5.
So bishop c5, stopping the rook coming to a7. Might be one idea. Also, it gives the king a bit of breathing here. I don't mind it. Also, might be looking at bishop d4 type ideas. It doesn't win anything immediately because of rook a5. But
this, yeah.
So, but both kings looking pretty cut off at the time being.
So king e7.
King e7 looks natural, keeping it on the dark squares, avoid any tricks.
Yeah, I mean, I would guess that black can already try to chase the pawn somehow.
How's bishop g1? Yeah. Trying to meet king f4 with bishop h2 or something.
Bishop h2, you have to be careful of rook a7.
Rook a7. Oh, I mean with check, right?
If white plays king f4, then you want to do that?
I think so.
Yeah, but there will still be some rook a7.
There's still king f5. Maybe the bishop has to then drop back to g1. It's still tricky.
Yeah, I don't know. I would have thought that bishop d4 was the way, but I guess that with not much time, bishop g1 looks more flexible. But then I don't know. What do you do against either king f4 or bishop d5? There's a bit of pressure, but yeah, I guess somehow you're fine. Bishop d5. Yeah, what do you do? I mean, you can play it any way, I guess. It's like say you play bishop h2 and rook a7, but it's dangerous. So he doesn't want to risk it. So he wants to keep the bishop there, but then the rook is going the other way. So it's like on the one hand, it looks like white can never get control of this e7 square, but on the other hand, it's like very awkward for black to play the pieces. But now
it looks a tiny bit awkward, but that's probably all. Is bishop f5 check anything? King steps back.
Yeah, so where do you step back? I guess you go back to e8, right?
E8, I assumed.
So you go back to e8. And then, okay, yeah, I guess you go back to e8, and then you ask what does white do? Oh, he went to d8? Okay, I thought somehow that allowed...
Apparently still okay.
I thought that allowed rook h8 and rook c8, but maybe it was okay.
And does Max now want to check from the side, from the back? Not at all. This is all still fine, apparently.
I mean, if I were white, I would play rook h8 and rook c8 probably, but I guess maybe you can play it at any time.
I don't love the rook being on a light square, but I'm sure it's fine.
Yeah, I think that's okay. Bishop f5. Okay, check. So, you have to be. Boy, rook a1. Yeah, rook a1. But even white can play king e6 now, right? Because if you check, then king f7. But now he decides to play rook h8. And I don't know whether the idea is to do the rook c8 and rook c2, or to go something more direct.
Looking laterally, this I'm still being convinced this is drawn, but feeling less and less happy about it.
This, yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, I guess, yeah, could still be drawn. You can't see any way for white to win yet, but
King to c6. King c6, bishop e4.
before, right?
Uh,
Here's king b6. Okay.
this king feels quite a long way from the pawn now. Oh, bishop d4. Looks quite good.
Bishop d4. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I guess that looks yeah. Good move. Yeah. Now it's difficult for white to advance this pawn. Rook h6. This is supposed to be tactical or something, but now king c5.
This now looks like game over. Well, in terms of draw, a Ricky one coming. I'm not sure how.
Now, yeah, it looks okay.
Okay, rook to.
How do you play rook a6 now? So now white like has to play king g7. You take the pawn with check. And then I guess you just swap rooks and make a draw.
Well done, Max, and well done, Warwick.
So yeah, this was a great result. I mean, many great individual results, but yeah, especially great team results. Oxford have been pretty much dominating the event, I guess, with some very strong players. So,
and this could give us a very exciting final round to commentate into, keeping it nice and open.
yeah. So they
we'll have to review the standings at the start of the next. Do we have time to go through the next decisive games?
Maybe if there's some miracle like Warwick didn't win.
Do we have time to scan through these? I think so. Oh, I'm not being kicked off yet.
What are you scanning through?
The decisive games from that we didn't quite see the end of.
Oh, okay. So we agree that this is a draw, and
oh yeah, I'm calling that one a draw.
And we go to like Jackson or something.
I was going to go in order.
Oh, you want to go in order? Okay. So, what?
So
including match game, or you want to go to board two?
Looking at board two at the time being, just from where we left off Victor's game, where he was pushing around move 27.
Knight d2. I don't know. This might be some novelty or something? Knight d2. I guess. Yeah. This is some homebrew. Managed to get a good position. Then queen f4. Also a clever idea. And the immediate g4. A lot of pressure with the immediate g5. And then what is this? Knight g4. Okay, so then yeah, so knight g4. This was a great game.
There was some concern about this f5 pawn, but since the f pawn got cleared out, it was quite easy to defend in the end. Knight
g4 was just so concrete. And he spent a minute and a half and found this nice solution.
It's a good find. Yep.
And it's yeah, I mean, then he just has a good position, right? He just has a good position.
Never really looks like he gave black any half chances. Yeah, nice with a fork on.
Yeah,
with a fork on d6 to come. That's quite a clean game from Victor. Very nice.
Yeah, this
Ed versus Dan. So we left it about this queen d4 point.
Ed versus Dan. Yeah, I don't know what the evaluation of the position was. Maybe the sacrifice was done the whole time, because it's like we didn't really find anything convincing for white, right? Although we didn't look that much. But this idea bishop takes c3 and rook e4. Turns out to be very pleasant.
So this was played.
And then Black,
Oh,
yeah, Black is playing for a win with no risk, and then
a lot of pawns came. Oh, it seems like Dan just blundered on a c7.
I'm not sure if it's a blunder, but
the rook c2. Oh, I see. I thought, okay, rook c2.
Oh, at the end, yeah, at the end, that's definitely a blunder. But the position was already quite bad. But yeah, at the end,
for sure, yeah.
At the end with rook c7, that's yeah, that's definitely a blunder. I guess, yeah, I guess Black probably would have won anyway. It was a nice, yeah, it was a nice game.
How did this happen?
Maybe.
We were about here in Sim versus Sivakumar, and we were half expecting a threefold repetition.
Oh, what happened with this?
Rook ending.
Yeah, I kind of expected Black to play on, but I didn't think that White would have any difficulty drawing this. I mean, White didn't really have to do anything.
Oh, so White played King F2 on move 32 and hung the E3 pawn to a little trick.
Yeah, I guess it's just a blunder, right?
Yeah.
It's not that White. I mean, White kind of ran out of moves.
But it's still drawing, right?
Yeah, but I wonder if it was a blunder or if White just felt that she ran out of moves.
Unfortunately, couldn't quite hold this. It's always going to be a tough ask. Yeah. Okay, so should we have a quick scan of the results of the round published yet? In somewhere they are. Okay. I'll go through a quick run through the results of the round then. So Loughborough beat Nottingham 2.5 to 1.5. Warwick, of course, beating Oxford 2.5 1.5. That was the sort of main focus, certainly for us. KCL whitewashing Cardiff. Cambridge edging out Birmingham in what was actually a fairly tight encounter, 2.5 to 1.5. And UCL beat Imperial 4-0 in the end. So that's quite a big result, and especially for the game points tiebreaker that it could come down to in the final round. And I'll have a quick scan of the Division 2 results as well.
Any way of do you know the standings? I mean, is Oxford still winning or?
I'll see if they've refreshed. Okay, I do. So, championship standings going into the final round, we have UCL and Oxford both with 13 match points, which is what, 5 wins and a draw? No.
This is
6 wins and a draw each.
Yeah, 6.5 out of 8. So.
But UCL actually comfortably in front on game points, probably thanks to that 4-0 win against Imperial.
So UCL in a commanding position then.
Yeah. So as a reminder, UCL will win the championship if they win their match against Birmingham with a 2.5 game point lead over Oxford. They're tied on match points, and Warwick sitting in third with what should be a fairly winnable tie against Cardiff. And in Division 2, you've got Oxford and Warwick both tied at the top on match points. Oxford with the lead on game points. So again, a win for them in their match against UCL would secure them the title. Where do you want to focus, Sam? Where do we think? UCL's game in the championship, maybe?
Yeah, I thought maybe we could start with UCL.
Yeah.
Because we haven't looked much at them, right? So they have at least not this today. So they have I Am Balaji, FM Minker, CM Yoon, and they have Wen Xiang Li on board too. Yes, I'm familiar with Balaji. The others I'm not really familiar with. And who are they? They're playing Birmingham.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
They have rating advantage on all boards. They should be favourites, and actually that 4-0 demolition really of Imperial in the last round has put them in a very strong position.
Yeah, I guess they're huge favourites. I don't know what to make of the ratings, but I mean, yeah. Also, they have several titled players. So
I'd take them with certainly the Birmingham ones with a pinch of salt. They gave Cambridge a very good game, so they're clearly stronger than the 800 ratings might suggest.
We have lift off. Board 4. We have this interesting gambit. So this is like what it's like. You pretend to play a a Benoni, but then you play this Benko B5. But then the position is a bit different to.
Is this board 4?
Board 4, yeah.
This one here.
Am I looking? Oh no, I'm looking at the wrong board. Sorry, I clicked to one too low. So.
Oh, that's I think that's board 1. I think this is board 1 of Cambridge, but I can have a look at it.
Completely different game, sorry.
Yeah.
we were meant to look at UCL, right?
Okay.
Let's look at UCL. You want top board or you want some of the?
I'll go with top board. They've had a fair number in so far. They've gone pretty quickly actually.
Top board D4, E4, Bishop C4. Okay. E5, D5, Bishop B5, Knight E4, D4. Yeah, I think this is kind of normal, right?
I've all seen. Queen B8.
Maybe Queen B8 is unusual.
A bit unusual to me, but that might be a me problem.
Queen B8. All right, so I don't know much about this position, so let me try to figure things out. Queen B8. So this puts some pressure on the B pawn, I guess. So it's not so easy for White to develop the bishop, and the knight. I guess you don't really want to play knight C3. Maybe you could play knight C2, but then if Black takes it,
you're forced to take with the queen. I suppose.
You want to take with the queen. So yeah, so maybe Queen B8 is a nice move because it immediately forces White to think. Unless White knows. So F3.
F3. My immediate thought is this A7 G1 down. It looks a little bit loose with a queenie on B6, but it's probably fine. King H1 to slide out of the way.
Yeah, it's probably fine. I guess on one hand, it's nice to have this F4 and F5 idea. On the other hand, if you do it, then Black has knight back to E4. But also, why can't you just play knight C3 or something now?
It's fine. Yeah,
because now you can play something like F4 if Black is not really doing anything. Say Black just plays Bishop E7 and castles, then White plays like F4, F5, F6, and wins.
And wins, yeah.
So this also puts the question now back to Black. How should Black play? I mean,
does Black want 96 and Bishop C5?
96, yeah, maybe 96 is sensible because now there is not going to be any 94 anyway. You might as well play knight E6, and yeah, this might enable you to swap off White's dangerous knight on D4. Although White might play some move like knight B3 or knight C2 or something, but I guess knight E6 is the most natural move for Black here.
Should we pop to board 2 quickly? Have a quick scan of all of them.
Board 2. All right. What is this? This is this. Yeah. So some QGD again. Knight D2. So Knight d2. Yeah, I guess this is a response to knight. This is in case of knight e4, not any inspiration from Victor's game or anything. All right, and black is what is going on here? Black is just taking the bishop pair, right? It looks like this might have gone well for black, because black is just taking the bishop pair. So yeah, what happens here? Does it make sense? Yeah, I mean, maybe white had some other options, like maybe bishop h4.
Bishop h4 instead of f4 here, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. And then, yeah, because now, okay, I guess it's fine, but you don't really want to just give up the bishop pair.
Oh, it's this queen to c2 that leaves the h5 square.
Yeah, that's true, but you kind of have to defend the knight, right? Yeah, so I guess a very enterprising player by black, putting pressure from the beginning and just taking the bishop pair. And then now I guess black is probably doing fine, can castle either way. And I mean, maybe white could have some ideas to apply pressure, but like, I don't know, maybe there will be some castles queenside in f4, f5 or something, but I mean, probably none of this is that effective, and black can develop, and yeah, so I'm not sure which way he will castle, but I guess, yeah, maybe the same way as white. Black should be doing fine here.
Okay, should we pop down to board 3? And I'll go from the top again quickly. What we got?
D4. D4 looks a bit strange, but yeah, I guess D4. Okay, yeah, I guess it makes some sense. If you're not willing to play D4, then there will be pressure on your D pawn. So maybe you could consider playing it straight away. So maybe you're not really threatening much immediately, because if E4, then Queen C4. But maybe you want to play some other move first and then threaten E4 or something like
that. Does black want E4?
Does black want E4? I mean,
apparently not.
Maybe I would have considered it, but say E4 knight FD2, then immediately there's this threat of C4. So yeah, maybe you just couldn't make it work.
There's a few holes in white's position on the G3, maybe the light squares, but maybe it's fine.
Yeah, so you can play on the E file now. I guess it's fine. I guess it's fine. Both sides will manage to develop.
Probably at some point white will park a knight on E5.
Yeah. Well, that would just be an exchange, but yeah, maybe. The queen, like queen f2, knight bd2, and both sides are developed.
Shall we scan board 4?
4, yeah.
I instinctively quite like white's position, but
yeah, but it's quite normal. Right, I mean, the position. Well, what has happened? So, oh no, what happened? Black gave up the dark square bishop.
Yeah, black went for an E5 break. and then took with the bishop rather than knight on d7, which seems a bit odd.
Yeah, I mean, so normally black would be a bit more patient in these positions, like basic bishop b7, and then have the option to play either e5 or c5. Yeah, maybe black would even develop a bit more before doing that. But black has been quite impatient and then given up the dark squared bishop, which is not what you want to do. So, yeah, now reaching this position, I think white is doing quite well.
Could be a textbook IQP position for white. Park a knight on d4.
Yeah, I mean, black, this is sort of what you're supposed to avoid if you have the IQP. You're supposed to avoid swapping off that bishop that's on the opposite color to the IQP. And now black is just left with the one bishop that's the same color as that. White has the bishop pair and play against the pawn, square in front of the pawn. So, yeah, it's like black black has this weakness without really any compensation for it.
And so white doing well on board 4, probably all the others looking even enough so far. Should we have a quick look at Oxford, who are obviously UCL's title challengers, presumably?
Yeah, sure. So,
whereabouts are they? Here we go.
So what did he want a pawn, or Gorman, right? He won a pawn.
Yeah, so white goes c5 and b4, but
yeah, isn't this a weird decision to play b4?
I don't love it. a5 is just quite a strong response.
Yeah.
And it already looks a little bit tricky for white.
Yeah. Okay, so pawn down. Not really any compensation, I would say.
At most, there's a bit of pressure on b6, but that's about it.
Yeah, I suppose, but black has say bishop c6 or something. So.
Maybe white here going for knight c4, trying to pile on that b6 pawn, and
but
maybe
there's no time. If black plays bishop c6, you have to move your knight back to c3.
Yeah, no, let's go for it.
Yeah.
Maybe there's some knight f8 to e6 to d4 at some stage.
Yeah, there's also that's a nice maneuver. You can do that, and if needed, the other knight can come back to d7 to defend. Yeah, probably black is doing well here. Yeah.
Okay, so Oxford certainly keeping the pressure on UCL.
On Loughborough, you mean? Or on UCL. The indirect pressure on UCL. Yeah. So, but what what happened here? Did Balaji win a pawn or?
We're back on the UCL game. Let's have a look.
Oh, sorry, I got.
Oh no, that's all right. It's fine.
But Balaji, didn't he win a pawn? So.
Oh.
Okay, now it is opposite bishops.
Bishop f5, and white just chose not to defend c2.
Black is a pawn up. They are opposite bishops. Maybe white is just playing for a draw or something. I mean, white might be able to draw this.
Opposite color bishops, doubled c pawns. It's definitely difficult, a bit of a grind to win black, but
yeah, but black is the one who is pressing. So I don't know. To me, it seems like this can't have been
maybe white's claiming that with b4 and a3, there's not a particularly good way for black to get through anyway.
Yeah, I guess white is just trying to hold this.
I mean, if white can play king f2 to e3 to d4, where's black getting through?
Yeah, I guess the thing is, black maybe wants to play earlier some f6 or g5. Yeah, maybe white can get settled before black does anything. What else can black do? Black can play rook a6 and rook ha8. I guess that's another idea. So yeah, maybe that's the plan. Either he wants f6 or g5, or he wants rook a6, rook ha8. So of course, if black plays that, white can take back on b4 with the bishop, and just claim that even with the scene d pawns not being opposed by pawns, they're still opposed by pieces. So maybe that's not enough for black to get through.
Maybe there's some world where black can double on the a file, take on b4, get through, park bishop on e4, and then start trying to harass these kingside pawns and the king with the rooks. But that's feels like a long way off at the moment.
The king side is also playable. Like imagine the bishop on e4, the king on f5, the pawn on h4. It's also possible for black to try to play that way. It seems like he maybe wants the thing I suggested before with doubling on the a file, which would stop white from playing a takes b4. But white could still take with the bishop. Yeah, but maybe he thinks that's still a benefit. That's still a plus. It creates a bit more potential. It's like if the bishop comes off the b4 square, then the rook might come in down the b file, and if the bishop stays on b4, then maybe it doesn't hold on to everything quite so tightly.
In a way, it's quite a nice one for black to play. Is not in any particular rush to try and force anything, not in any danger of losing.
Yeah, I guess
keep an eye on the other three boards and how they're progressing. Even needs to push for a win.
Apply pressure for a long time, and white makes a mistake.
And if he can secure a draw to wrap up the title, then he can do that.
So, what board are we looking at? Board 2 now, or?
Yeah, we can do that.
Board 2. Okay, so he gave up the bishop pair, but then he played bishop f5. So, all right. So this is, I guess, then it's okay. You don't yeah. You're not disadvantaged by not having the bishop pair, but you've given up a nice bishop. So now, what is the idea? You want to play for minority attack or something? But yeah, black looks very stable.
Does black want 94 immediately?
Yeah, I would be tempted to play 94. Yeah, probably 94. And if 92, then f5, I guess.
I would think so. And then white can never really kick the knight away with f3 because of this g3 pawn.
Yeah, I still think black is comfortable here.
Board 3.
So harmonious.
Quick look at board 3.
Alright. Okay, this d4. All right, so both sides developed.
Not come on too far, I don't think.
Both sides developed. Okay.
A bit of back and forth with that bishop on g6.
Yeah.
Maybe black wants to game b4.
b4. Yeah, maybe not now, but yeah, maybe at some point b4. e1. Yeah, black also has the idea to play rook a8 now if he wants rook a8 and rook a2. But I don't know, maybe white can play quickly. Maybe white can play knight e5, which is what you wanted from the beginning, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe after rook a8, white would just go ahead and play knight e5 there. So yeah, it's not clear how black what's going on. So I guess someone has to win if they want to win the match. And yeah, okay, maybe Balaji will manage to win this.
Or maybe they're going for the positional grind on board 4. Which I'm going to look at that on this IQP that we quite like with white.
They also had a nice position on board 4. Yeah. Although now there's knight d3. Is this concerning actually something a bit what has happened? So again we see a player swapping off one of the bishops when faced with the opponent having the bishop there. And I think this is a very good idea here. Yeah, probably white should have avoided this earlier by playing h3 or something.
Mm-hmm.
This exchange is in black's favor, I think. I mean, maybe white is still doing well, but look at the pressure now. Say white moves the bishop somewhere, and then knight e4. It's like now it's not one-way traffic. This is now.
I mean, there's not a good square for the bishop immediately, is there? I mean, bishop a3 walks into queen a5. It looks like.
Yeah, maybe it's even worse than what I described. Maybe
bishop c3 walks into rook c8. You don't really want to play rook b1, but it looks like he's going to have to. Has done.
Let's say knight e4 or something. It's like yeah, okay. At least knight e4. I don't know. It's very tricky. Knight e4 is threatening knight d2. So black can take on b2 whenever they want.
Gone early. I was looking at some queen a5 and queen d2 ideas, but
he took it straight away, which I don't like so much, because I would have preferred to play knight e4 first, putting pressure on d2. Taking straight away seems a bit impatient.
Yeah, this rook's only really bad on b2 for one move. It can come to c2 or d2 quite quickly.
Yeah, like maybe he looked at this position and thought it was fine, and yeah, maybe that's true. But you know, because structurally white is better, so I think black should have considered immediately going for knight e4.
And
but it's also true that maybe this is not so bad. Black has the c file. Black can still probably put this knight on e4 and have it be pretty good.
It kind of feel goes against the general. If you have the IQP, keep the pieces on, try and get something going. Trades would tend to favor white.
Yeah, so it's like the conventional wisdom is with the IQP you keep the minor pieces on, and against the IQP you swap the minor pieces. Because if you imagine they're just major pieces, then the IQP will only be weak. Here, no, I mean here there's the C file, there's knight e4, but you could have done this anywhere. You could have played knight e4, and you could have taken on b2 the next move if you wanted to, but you were also applying a lot of pressure, so probably you didn't need to rush at all.
Should we have a first look at the Warwick games for this round?
Yeah, we should look at Warwick. So
looks like they've
on board 1.
They've got Victor on board 1, Ed on board 2, Max on board 3, and
what is going on with these board orders? Can you just do anything, or?
So I believe you can do anything within a certain sort of rating, plus or minus. So if they're within like 80 on the registered ratings, you can do what you want. So you couldn't have your board 1 being 100 points lower than your board 2, but if they're close enough, then it's fine.
Okay. Yeah, it seems like
similar to the 4 NCL, I think.
it just seems like there's been so much movement between the boards.
I quite like it. It adds to the team play tactics. So part of it.
It's like I wasn't. I mean, Max has definitely been on board 3 somehow, right? And I don't. Yeah, I don't know how this was possible, but apparently somehow it was.
Maybe in the last round it was an inspired board order move around to secure the win against Warwick. In fact, Max has won already. So should we have a quick look at that?
Max has already won. What, what is this game?
A quick playthrough.
So this pawn structure, okay. Oh, this pawn structure, Black gave up that bishop.
Oh.
Black should not give up that bishop without getting something concrete in the chain. Oh,
Yeah,
this
this
is nice.
looks quite weak already.
Okay, I got a bit further than you, but
I immediately wanted knight takes g6 here, but I'm probably jumping again a little bit.
I mean, I think the way Max played it is the
this
right
is
way.
much better. I like f5. This is really good.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, even without
a bit going on.
Because, yeah, it's already completely crushing, right? So yeah, nice game from Max.
Everything comes
27
off.
years. I think they say technically for a miniature you have to be 25, but this definitely feels like a miniature.
And with mate on the board as well.
With mate on the board.
Yeah, well, we'll pass. That's fine. And Max's work for the weekend is done.
All right. Well done,
look at
Max.
Victor's game on board 1. It looks like he's doing well and probably picking up some material very quickly.
Also likes his space. You see, oh, what is this?
There's now knight e6. And it's played.
Knight e6. Yeah, so I guess you just take the material.
And already Victor looks like he's doing well. So a promising start for Warwick.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes this position is not entirely clear. I mean, sometimes that bishop actually is as strong as a rook, but in this case, I think yeah, one should be doing very well, but maybe still a bit of work to do. Because what is it, like queen b6? If it's like take, then all right, you have to watch out for this f2 square, and if you try to play down the c file, there maybe black blocks it with
on c3. Yeah. Okay, there's a little bit more to it, I thought, but
yeah, I mean he must have a better position, but I think it's not yet over. But he also has a huge time advantage, I guess.
Oh yeah, good spot.
Probably he's feeling quite comfortable.
10 minutes to 2. Have a look at Ed's game on board 2. We've got Dan Edwards versus Edward Jackson.
Nice battle with Edwards. H3. This is very patient. Yeah, maybe this is actually specifically directed against Black's play with the knight a6 stuff. Because normally the queen would be on c2, and then there are some positions where Black has the knight on a6, and maybe you wish you didn't have the queen on c2. But I don't know how much the players thought about this. So what's going on? So
White chose to give up the light square bishop for the knight on e4.
Yeah. So the idea was to. What was the idea? The idea, I guess, was to get activity, but now there's pressure on this e3 pawn. Wait. So yeah, what happened?
So queen g5 hitting e3. White put a knight in the way with knight f4.
Yeah.
f3 to challenge that e4 pawn, the few trays on e4, and now black is piling on e3 a bit.
Yeah, it looks like black managed to get a good position. Black managed to get a good position, but
I suppose white's looking at that c6 pawn, knight on b4, holding it for now.
yeah, maybe it's not that easy. I was going to say what is black trying to do, but before we get to that question, white just played d5.
So, is this a tactical shot? Have I missed something?
I don't yet know what the point of this is. I mean, yeah, actually, to me, it
So
looks a bit,
why can't black play c takes d5?
to me, it looks a bit impatient. Yeah, why can't black just take it?
Rook c8 doesn't appear to do anything.
Yeah.
It's not as though white can penetrate on the 7th either, or the 6th. I can't see much.
So takes with the knight is also interesting, with the idea that you get a little bit. Oh no, that wasn't the idea. The idea was to take with the queen. Okay, I thought he was going to take with the pawn and get a little bit more pressure on e3. You took with the queen, which is, yeah, I guess it's also a nice idea. You take with the queen, and the idea is you're just pawn up without any damage to your pawn structure.
Queen to e6 seems to hold everything pretty tightly.
Yeah, maybe this is actually the best way what he did.
Holds c6, holds f7, puts a bit of pressure on e3.
Pawn up. There's pressure on e3. I mean, a4 is also on crease.
That's good.
Yeah, it's probably the right choice actually.
Yeah,
d5.
Queen e6 played.
I think d5 can't have been a good move.
Yeah, it's a bit strange. I can't see much, and this looks pretty solid for black. White doesn't really have any breakthrough. King with plenty of air on h7.
So looking good for Warwick so far.
Indeed. I'll have a very quick look at board 4, and then we'll hop back to the UCL game maybe. Or we can have a look at the plate, perhaps. We'll see.
Something interesting is happening on board 4, right?
Okay. Should we go from the top briefly?
Maybe not.
No. Wait. Is there some sort of error in the moves here? This can't be right.
Did something weird happen in the beginning?
Yeah, it looks like it was. I mean, apparently.
Oh yeah. I think what must have happened was d4, c4, queen d4, knight c6, queen e3.
Yeah, this was a Moro of some sort, right?
I think what happened is the transmission was wrong, and then they fixed it and got the right position, but with the wrong moves.
Yeah.
So I think after queen d4, knight c6, queen e3, this is kind of normal.
Yeah.
And then you put the queen on g3, and yeah, this all looks well. It's very aesthetic for white, but in the end, maybe black is okay.
G5 is fairly exciting. Yeah, white's advantage is starting to show a little bit.
Yeah, so maybe black is okay, but I mean, okay, black still has to develop it. Black is very close to completing development.
Both sides fairly low on time, down to about 2 minutes each. Assuming that's correct.
Yeah. So I guess my initial thought is that black should be able to complete development here, but I haven't yet seen how to do it. But I think probably it should work. Because
maybe like a bit of b6, bishop a6.
Sorry, do what?
b6 and a bishop. Bishop a6 maybe, or bishop b7, either or.
Oh, okay. Yeah, maybe you can do that, but it looks unpleasant. I mean, say it's like oh, all right. I mean, black already played bishop d7, but my idea was like white could play like bishop g6 or something. And if you played king g7, then maybe you kind of get stuck after knight d6. Of course, there are other possibilities,
maybe after
but here say
bishop c6, black's doing okay.
But here say bishop g6. Isn't black under a lot of pressure? Oh, white did not play bishop g6. I think white probably should have played bishop g6 because knight e6. Now black has king e7, and now I think black is okay.
Yeah, it's b7 pawn protected, and black's
one move ago instead of knight d6 after bishop g6. Isn't there like a lot of pressure?
Yeah, some mating ideas probably.
Okay, to me that looked actually uncomfortable. Bishop d7, bishop g6. But I don't know. Maybe there was something. Bishop. So now knight d6, king e7. I think black just unravels here.
Yeah, looks okay. Where should we pop to? We could go for UCL. We could look at the plate or Division 2. Or okay. It looks like Balaji has something.
Balaji. All right. So what happened? So Balaji played this ideal, doubling on the a file, and
white about here.
The bishop decided to play bishop d4. The problem is then it allows rook a2, swapping off one pair of rooks. So in these positions, it's like probably black doesn't want to swap two pairs of rooks because then it's very often within the drawing range. If you swap like one pair of rooks, then often you can win these opposite bishop endings with an extra pawn. Somehow
white gave up the g2 pawn.
And now now there's an extra 2 pawns. So yeah, that's this whole idea of playing bishop d4. It allows this rook a2, and the rook is very strong there.
So yeah, black managed to get in a bishop e4, and rook takes g2.
So black now has 2 pawns. I mean, yeah, 2 pawns should be very good. I mean, some of these endings are even winning without the rooks. But with the rooks, I think, yeah, probably it's quite easy.
White king's also cut off from the first rank. So
yeah, the white king is also cut off.
Black should fancy their chances.
Yeah, so Balaji is in control here. So what Botu also
UCL also appears to be doing well.
Also became good for white. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the position looked fine for black before, but white managed to get this minority attack.
Yes, so they went for knight c5 and that classic b5 break.
So yeah, in that case, I guess white is pushing, and then
tripled up on the b file to hit b7.
Oh, and now
it got a knight to e5.
Yeah, then the d5 pawn became weak. Black took on e5.
And now a discovery.
It's falling apart, right?
It appears that way. So white with an extra 2 pawns in a queen ending, which I imagine they will convert.
Yeah, I mean, you have to be careful of some perpetual checks, but yeah, black already.
Yeah, there's maybe some.
I mean, I think I would have played one more move better.
Yeah, I would have tried this one queen d5 to h5 trick, and that's about it.
You were threatening perpetual check, right? So,
yeah.
but I mean, yeah, realistically, white would see this.
But no, okay. So UCL go 1 up in that one.
Yeah, so white managed to win, which takes the pressure off. So Balaji in the end decided to swap rooks after all. Decided that yeah, decided that yes, the endgame is winning, even after you swap rooks. And yeah, looking at the position, I think it must be true. So like in one of these pure sort of endings with like say they didn't have the e5 and f7 pawns, then often it depends on the distance between the 2 pawns, like the whether or not it's winning. Here it's like the presence of the pawns makes it easier to win. Actually, this pawn on e5 is getting in the way. With the mobility of white's bishop, and also it could come under attack at some point. So yeah, I think black is doing very well here.
Does this black eventually come around and win it?
Maybe it's just is it even immediate? Let's see, maybe it's even immediate.
With like king f1, bishop c4.
Yeah, because can you even stop the pawn just coming down?
Oh, well, now g3.
It's just an immediate win, right? Yeah, this is
game over.
Yeah.
So
all right, so UCL will win this game for sure.
So all they need now for the title is a draw on both 3 or 4.
Draw, and
they should get one here if they want.
Where you're looking on board 3.
Board 3.
Yeah, they should get one here. I mean, what is it? They're pawn down, but would be a draw. Have a look.
No, not even a pawn down on board 3.
Oh, they're not a pawn down. Oh yeah, they're not a pawn down. So yeah, it should be pretty easy. Maybe they will even try to win. No, that's yeah, I don't think they can. They will lose this.
Okay, so if we think that UCL are going to win the championship, do you want to have a look at the plate competition? So you might win that one.
Okay.
So we've got Oxford and UCL are the two to keep an eye on here. I'll have to check who is who. I'm less familiar with these names. But
wait, Oxford and UCL.
Oh, sorry, Oxford and Warwick are the two.
Oxford and Warwick, yeah.
Oxford are playing UCL. Okay, we'll have a look at Warwick first. And they are here. This is their board 1. And it's an interesting look at endgame. I feel like White should be doing well.
Yeah, she might be doing well. Well, yeah, well, White has these 2 outside connected passed pawns. The bishop is better than the knight. It's guarding f2, which would have been otherwise been a potential source of counterplay. So this one is not looking good for the Warwick player, right? Although, if you play like knight d5, and maybe there was some possibility to play knight d5 and just sort of hold White up a bit, and just say, well, yeah, prove that you're winning.
Yeah, I mean, maybe White starts to move the king in.
White just brings the king. Maybe, but even so, where's the king going? The king can't go to d3 or c2. So, yeah, I mean, black can maybe sit around with rook b7 or something. I don't know, but to me this could have made sense. Black decided to play h5.
These pawns starting to come quite quickly now, it seems.
Yeah, I mean, if these pawns are coming, then how will black avoid just losing? Maybe black will go for some g4 and try to just
Some mating tricks, maybe.
yeah,
Yeah.
maybe if white like panics or something. Or all right. I mean, there's no way white doesn't see what black's up to. Maybe white just doesn't find a good way to defend. So yeah, the idea is G3 is
G3.
an idea. Maybe there's some other tactics as well.
Yeah,
But
just going for it.
yeah, G3 is G3 is a simple way to
And now
apply some pressure.
King F1, I suppose.
Yeah, so maybe the idea is after rook e8 you can play bishop c3. After knight f4.
Oh,
You can
okay.
play
Now
like,
we'll go for it. Another mate threat. Nice.
you can play like bishop e3 or something. But I also don't know, like, couldn't black have played rook c1, king e2, knight f4? Oh, but now white has decided to
Now
run.
knight takes G2 check, and black at least has a.
Yeah, now
That's on their
suddenly
own.
there's some pressure, right? So you could take on g2. Maybe you could even play rook e8. But probably you would take on g2. And now I don't know. Would you play rook d8 or would you play knight h4? It doesn't seem that clear. So rook d8. Yeah. Can you play b7? B7.
Rook takes D4, king C3, and then rook back to D8. And then rook A8.
D8.
But then it's not so clear because black can try and queen, no?
Black can try to queen. Yeah, I think it would not have worked in that position you mentioned, but black maybe try to queen. Yeah, to me it looks like b7 is working. Because now say, oh, but black can try to queen faster. Yeah, black can try to queen.
Yeah.
I can try to, like, say, not move the rook back. Maybe just take on d4.
Now we take.
Like, say, take on d4 and go for the immediate queen.
Well, because how's this white rook stopping the pawn?
Yeah, you take on d4 and you immediately play g2.
Rook.
Take on d4. I mean, I don't even know where the king should go here. Maybe there is no good square. Because, yeah, king c2 avoids tactics, but there is also rook b4.
But now rook b4 is good, no?
Yeah, so rook b4 might be like the patient way. He only has 4 seconds. But if he finds rook b4...
Maybe it's not, because then you can queen and play rook b1.
You can queen and play...
White
you can queen and play rook b1. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so not rook b4. Not rook b4.
Not rook b4. But then what?
But so maybe the idea here is so that white doesn't pick up this rook in some line. I don't know.
But then white must be winning this, right?
Okay, but now white can do this.
Yeah. Now he can do it. Yeah, I guess white is winning. I mean, I guess white was anyway winning before, but it looked very close, this race. But yeah, I guess b7 worked.
If I go back here quickly, I know it looks like game's over, but if g2 here?
g2 I can promote. Penetrate.
Oh, and then rook g6, rook g8. We'll pick the queen up. Okay. Fine. So that one looks like it's finished at 3-1 to Warwick.
Oh, did we win the other games?
Warwick winning on board 2. Warwick win on board 3, and Warwick win on board 4. Has Tom Brown scored 9 out of 9? Not quite. 8.5 out of 9 with the drawing round.
Yeah, I thought that other game looked quite
A very, very impressive performance nonetheless.
Yeah, 8.5 out of 9 is a wonderful result. So, so wait, what does that mean? But Warwick is still behind Oxford or something on game points.
Yeah, I need to take a look at the Oxford games, which are on with Aaron Saunders.
I mean, decided after all to play for the win.
Let's have a look.
What I thought yeah.
Okay, so it looks like Oxford have won on board 1. They've won on board 2.
And on board 3.
And board 3. And on board 4. Okay. So
second place for Warwick 2, is that right?
It looks like second place for Warwick 2, and congratulations to Oxford for, we think, winning the plate.
Okay, yeah, well done.
And I'll nip back to the championship quickly. I think this looked like it was mostly over, but
yeah, I mean, Minko, we discussed how Minko should get at least a draw and maybe play for a win, and Minko is indeed
they're still going.
It's still going, but yeah. Oh well, actually, the match is over because you drew.
I've got to respect the fighting spirit to still play for a win, even though it's not strictly necessary.
Yeah, why not play for a win? I guess it is winning, yeah.
I mean, the pressure's off, I suppose.
Yeah, the pressure is off. Yeah, not that there was really much risk, but yeah, the king got in, and now Black should win.
I think Oxford look to be 3-0 up with 1 still going, but it won't be enough to overtake UCL. Warwick finishing off with a 3.5 win to secure that 3rd place.
Very well played, Warwick. It was a great fight back, winning the last 7 matches.
Especially that round 8 against Oxford in the last round. I had the pleasure of commentating on.
Yeah, that was an impressive set of games. And yeah, so I guess we also spoiled Oxford's path to glory. UCL on game points in the end. So what was it? It was 7.5 out of 9 for UCL and Oxford, and 7 for Warwick. I guess
that sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah. It was a good top 4 event with many strong teams.
And that means Cambridge coming outside the podium places. It's good. It's good to have 4 very competitive teams, plus others in Imperial and Birmingham putting up plenty of fight throughout the tournament.
So did Cambridge win the final? I guess Cambridge
let's have a look.
Won their final match as well, yeah.
They did, yeah. It looks like they won 3-1
against Kings.
This is pretty over. So I've popped to board 3 of Oxford, which is Dan still going against Gervine of Loughborough. Got a Rook and Bishop against Rook and 3 pawns.
What's happened there? All right, it looks like it's about to liquidate to draw probably. Because the bishop
F6. Yep, that is a draw. A very good result for a couple of that, I think.
Yeah, good result. What did you see any of their game?
Not really, I'll be honest.
It's like a reverse.
I'll have a very quick scan through.
I mean, okay, maybe some attack. He managed to win this D3 pawn.
Yeah, so black had a rook path on D3 for a lot of it. Eventually got traded and took back the C pawn.
So actually, white was a pawn up in this ending.
Try and see where this. There's a bit of a draw off, a bit of repetition, and then.
But what is going on in this position after Rook G1 check on move 67? Oh, you are not up to there.
Oh no, sorry. I'll pass forward.
After Rook G1 check, I mean, can we play King H6?
Oh, this went wrong somewhere.
Well, yeah, I mean, here King H6 would be good, right?
Oh, so it actually black was maybe a bit lucky to escape with a draw.
Yeah, so black was defending, but I guess there was a lot of time pressure, and then Knight G4 maybe was just a blunder. Like maybe he just didn't see King F3. But still, the position then, yeah. So then it became a draw.
And I think that is all the games done. Have they updated the standings? Let's see. I don't think they have, but congratulations to UCL, who we think have won the championship. Tied on match points with Oxford in second place, but taking it on, get the game point tiebreak. And as I said, our University Warwick coming in third. And Cambridge narrowly missing out in fourth, but all four teams very well fought throughout the tournament.
Yeah, they well played Warwick, especially today, and yeah, UCL incredible win. Oxford also showed a lot of really good games.
And I think that is the lot. I don't think we have any other live games for the lower divisions, do we? No, unfortunately not. Can we see individual player performances? Let's have a look. A couple of 8 out of 9s. Hamadan Balaji, an unbeaten 8 out of 9.
8 out of 9 is very impressive
Lee
result.
with another 8 out of 9.
Lee was on board too, like most of the time, or
8 out of 9 on board one is actually very impressive.
Yeah, so
that's a top set of results.
Oh no, yeah. So Balaji was Balaji was board one for UCL, and Lee was for UCL, right? Usually
safe, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah. So these are the individual standings, are there?
Yeah,
so, yeah. I mean, 8 out of 9. This is very, very impressive.
This is Warwick's Ed. Yeah, did a very good job.
Jackson did really well. 7 out of 9.
And I'll have a quick look at the late individual standings. If we can. Oh, a couple of 8.5s. Tom we mentioned, and also Aaron Saunders of Oxford.
Yeah, you get a medal, right, if you have the top on your board or something, I think.
Yeah, I think you get board medals.
Like this.
A couple of 8.5s that night. No 100% across the two divisions. Which tells you how competitive they are. I'm the one last check at the standings, but I think that is it. And if that's all, then thank you very much to anyone that tuned in live or is watching this at some point in the future.
Yeah, hope someone enjoyed it.
And thank you to Sam for co-commentating.
Yeah, cheers, Taran. It was fun.
And congratulations to everyone that played and everyone that won. In particular, UCL and Oxford for winning the championship and play that we spent most time looking at.
Yeah, it was exciting.
All right. Cheers, guys. Up the Warwick.